Sanfruel is going to make his way up to join them, because they'll just come out onto the track. You can see the opening there where the posse are going to walk out onto the track. And Blair Campbell will be trying to time it perfectly. This horse who has such a good record at Hexham, and you can see why Skew and Lucinda were keen to bring this horse back to almost the scene of the crime, because get a horse who is a little bit awkward and they like it at a track, it can pay to just carry on. Just trying to get a little bit, you can see he's just trying to time it so that he almost rocks his way to the start.
Well, they're racing, and it is Moreland's Miss, the first to show from Welsh Rarebit, the vocalist, and up along the inside is Fisher Green, with Sanfruel to the outside in the light blue jacket. Becky the Thatcher is next, and Solo Saxophone is bringing up the rear as they make the run down the hill towards flight number 2, with Moreland's Miss, the pace setter, coming to it with a lead of a couple of lengths or so over Welsh Rarebit, and the leader stood off that one. Moreland's Miss, Welsh Rarebit, Sanfruel, very, very lively just before the off in the preliminaries, and now Welsh Rarebit has hit the front after the second flight. Welsh Rarebit from Moreland's Miss and Sanfruel. Gap then of a length and a half to Becky the Thatcher. To the outside is Fisher Green, the probably red jacket. Solo Saxophone held up with the vocalist, and they're going now down into the dip. So Welsh Rarebit is pace setting by a couple of lengths. Moreland's Miss in second, the hat-trick seeker, the Hexham hat-trick seeker, Sanfruel, pale blue jacket, in third. Fisher Green next, and Becky the Thatcher, black and yellow silks, to the outside of Solo Saxophone, who's bidding to defy the winner's penalty for Weatherby last week, and the back marker is the vocalist. Moreland's Miss just backed off that hurdle a fraction and was out-jumped to second by Sanfruel. Meanwhile, it's Welsh Rarebit spearheading the field up the hill. Welsh Rarebit in front in this, the Your Relaxing Music Mix Smooth Radio Handicap Hurdle, coming now towards hurdle 4 of 10. Welsh Rarebit and Aidan Blakemore from Moreland's Miss and Sanfruel, turning now to face this hurdle. A short run from the turn to the flight, and Welsh Rarebit picks up with a length and a half advantage. Moreland's Miss and Sanfruel follow, and then comes Fisher Green and Dale Irving, who's racing along the outside of Becky the Thatcher and Sean Quinlan, who's looking for a double on the day. Solo Saxophone and Harry Skelton to the inside, and the vocalist and Danny McMenamin, the back marker. Now they're at the winning post, mile and a half still to cover, a circuit in front of them. Welsh Rarebit is in pole position as they now move away from the enclosures, making the approach to the 5th flight. Moreland's Miss is sitting in second for Nathan Mosscrop, and then Sanfruel to the outside. Fisher Green is following the leaders. Becky the Thatcher, Solo Saxophone and the vocalist jumping the next hurdle now, and they are well grouped as they move away from it. So Welsh Rarebit going towards the 6th flight with a lead of just over a length of Sanfruel, Moreland's Miss. Fisher Green on the move, so to the vocalist. Then Becky the Thatcher, and Solo Saxophone is just keeping a beady eye on the whole field. So going now towards this turn, and Moreland's Miss, who was out in front in the early stages, now being driven along there to try and hold on to his position going up the hill. So running now towards the far side of the track with 4 hurdles to clear, and it is Welsh Rarebit making it by a couple of lengths, with Sanfruel, Becky the Thatcher second and third. Then Fisher Green to the outside of the vocalist, and Solo Saxophone and Moreland's Miss now dropping away last of all and struggling to keep up. So going towards the final 3 hurdles, with the exception of Moreland's Miss, they're well bunched here, and it is Welsh Rarebit in front by about a length to Sanfruel, Fisher Green the outside, Solo Saxophone to the inside running rail now trying to close in. The vocalist next. Becky the Thatcher has lost ground, and Moreland's Miss is now tailing off. Only 2 hurdles to jump. Welsh Rarebit continues to lead on this downhill run. Aidan Blakemore doing the steering on this maiden. Welsh Rarebit in front by just over a length. Solo Saxophone now cruising along to dispute second with Sanfruel. The vocalist is also in that mix as they now come out of the dip. Becky the Thatcher and Fisher Green follow. Fisher Green now just getting outpaced, so they come out of the dip, go towards the second last. Welsh Rarebit by a length as they are snapping at the heels of this leader. Welsh Rarebit in front. The vocalist disputing second with Sanfruel. Solo Saxophone is just in behind them for Harry Skelton. Then Becky the Thatcher followed by Fisher Green. Moreland's Miss continues, a long way back though. So on the climb to the final hurdle, and it's Welsh Rarebit in front, the vocalist second. Now Harry Skelton's just asking Solo Saxophone to wake up and get into action, and Solo Saxophone all of a sudden has hit the front as they climb this Hexham hill towards the final flight, and Solo Saxophone, this son of Frankel, has got a few lengths clear. Coming over the final flight, Solo Saxophone's over it safely. On the run-in, Solo Saxophone clear. The vocalist, Becky de Thatcher and Sonfru all disputed for places. They're clear of Welsh Rarebit, who was weak, and Moreland's Miss continues. Fisher Green pulled up, and on the run-in, less than a furlong to go, it is Solo Saxophone for Team Skelton, Dan Skelton, Harry Skelton. Becky de Thatcher is staying on. The line is coming up for Solo Saxophone, and Solo Saxophone is the winner. Becky de Thatcher second place. Back in third is Sonfru, who's followed home then by the vocalist, Welsh Rarebit and Moreland's Miss, and that magical 200 is getting closer for Dan Skelton.
Well, this son of Frankel, he was, you know, whether it's just, I know it's only 4 days ago when he bolted up at Weatherby, but it's funny, you know, before the home turn, like, Harry Skelton was very brave. He cut every corner on this horse, and in the end, everybody looks at the paper or looks at the result and say 4-9 favourites, won nicely. But, you know, he gambled, Harry, on being able to get through those gaps on the inside, and had he have been shut off, you just wonder how straightforward it would have been, because I think this horse is, there's no doubting he's talented, but I also think he's probably not the most straightforward, hence the reason he's got a headgear on as well, and he's won nicely. But it'll be just interesting to get a word from Harry and see what he feels about it, because I'm sure, Alex, when you watch that race again and you see it from before the home turn, there was a moment there where you suddenly thought if you'd taken the 4-9, you might have had a little bit of a lump in your throat, because it looked for a minute like he was in trouble. But when Harry got that run